the members of the Standing Committee on Executive Appointment and Investigation, we would like to welcome Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios' representative, Mr. Kevin Bautista, the reappointees, Mr. Charles B. Cepeda, and Ms. Jeannie P. Magnus, elected officials, dignitaries, and members of the general public. Before we proceed forward with this public hearing, let me first introduce the members of this committee. To my right side of the aisle is the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Vinny Sablan, from the 3rd Senatorial District, Saipan. And next to him is Senator Carl King Neighbors from the 2nd Senatorial District, Inia. And to my left side of the aisle is the Vice President of the Senate, Senator Justo Kiruga from the 3rd Senatorial District, Saipan. And I'm the chairman of this committee from the 2nd Senatorial District, Inia, Francisco Q. Cruz. I would also like to announce a couple of things in the interest of informational purposes regarding code of conduct during this public hearing. Today, the members of this committee are conducting a public hearing on the reappointment of Mr. Charles B. Cepeda and Ms. Jeannie P. Magnus to serve as a member of the Northern Marianas College Board of Regents to represent the 3rd Senatorial District, Saipan. The public will be invited to make comments as to whether you support or oppose the appointee before us this morning. We value their input. However, any comments beyond the facts of the appointee or comments that are not directly related with this public hearing will not be entertained, and such comment will be removed from the record. At the same time, please observe minimal noises in disrupting this hearing process, and please turn your electronic to a silent mode. Thank you. Let us now begin. This public hearing is now in session. Today is July 26, 2021, at approximately 9:38 in the morning, here in the Senate Chamber, Capitol Hill, Saipan. This is a public hearing regarding the reappointment of Mr. Charles B. Cepeda and Ms. Jeannie P. Magnus by Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios to serve as a members of the Northern Marianas College Board of Regents, pursuant to 3 CMC Section 1311. Ms. Jolene Duenas Tagobel will be our clerk for this hearing. Mr. John Santos and Mr. Benter Lai will be our Sergeant at Arms, and Mr. Joe Bermudez will be our legal counsel, and will all serve accordingly for this hearing. At this time, I'd like to ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Senator Francisco P. Cruz.
Here.
Senator Richard B. Hope. Senator R. K. Nivens.
Present.
Senator Jose Esquivel. Senator Vinny Sablan. Mr. Chairman, 4 members are present, 1 member is absent.
Thank you, Jolene. With 4 members present, we have the necessary number to proceed with this hearing. However, the Vice Chairman of this committee, Senator Victor B. Hope, is excused for this hearing. At this time, do I hear a motion to adopt our agenda?
To offer a motion to adopt this agenda.
There's a motion and was seconded for the adoption of our agenda for this morning public hearing. All in favor of that motion, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. At this time, I'd like to ask the Sergeant at Arms to please escort the reappointees and the governors into the chamber. And I want to remind everyone that are here in the gallery that we're live coverage on cable TV and also on Facebook. And sir, before you proceed with your introduction, please stay in for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Buenos Aires and good morning. Chairman Cruz, Senator King Neighbors, Senator Sablan, Senator Hidalgo, and the LB staff. For the record, my name is Kevin Bautista, Press Secretary for the Office of the Governor. On behalf of Governor Ralph de Leon Torres and Lieutenant Governor Arnold Indalecio Palacios, I thank you for the opportunity to come and testify before you today. I'm here to introduce the Governor and Lieutenant Governor's nominees for the Northern Marianas College Board of Regents, Mr. Charles B. Cepeda and Ms. Zini P. Mullins. Mr. Cepeda is the current chair of the board and is an accomplished entrepreneur and business leader, while Ms. Mullins is the Deputy Corporate Director at the Northern Marianas Housing Corporation with extensive experience in the public sector. Both our nominees have demonstrated their community commitment in a wide array of activities over the years and have shown their leadership in the face of some of the most trying times in our college's history. Education is at the heart of our community's priorities, and these two accomplished community leaders intend to work with our new president, Ms. Dr. Galvin Leon Guerrero, and his leadership team in rebuilding the Northern Marianas College and accomplishing the goals of the CMI's institution of higher learning. They understand that not just the Commonwealth, but the whole world is growing and rapidly changing to keep up with the demands of increased globalization and an up and down economy, especially within the context of the unprecedented economic circumstances brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. We need a stronger local workforce, an educated community, and an innovative approach to managing our labor issues, our educational issues, and our economy. These two nominees, together with the current NMC Board of Regents members and the NMC leadership and staff, will ensure that our government meets this important goal for the forward progress of our entire community. Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios place their full trust and confidence in Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Mullins as members of the Northern Marianas College Board of Regents. I know they stand ready to answer your questions and present their plans for the future. Their commitment to creating a better Commonwealth make them viable candidates, as indicated in their resumes, as well as the testimonies that you're about to hear today. And we ask for your expeditious approval. Thank you to Zeus Monses and Gilliso for the opportunity to introduce them to this large body. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Bautista. And at this time, I'd like to ask Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Mullins to please rise so that the clerk can administer the oath. Clerk.
Please raise your right hand. Mr. Charles B. Cepeda and Ms. Zini P. Mullins, you do solemnly swear under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you shall give in the matter at hand shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. I know both of you have submitted all required documents to this committee, but if you have more to share this morning, first I would like to recognize Ms. Cepeda, and before you proceed with your testimony, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Charles D. Cepeda. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Governor and Lieutenant Governor for reappointing me to the Board of Regents, and for you senators to taking the time to listen to our testimony and to listen to the testimonies of the people that are here. I'm hoping that that's all in favor, but if not, I would take that into those who are not in favor. I listen wholeheartedly just so that I can learn on what we need to improve in with NMC. I look forward to going back to NMC as their board member. We have the new president, Dr. Galvin Leon Guerrero, who was selected by the Board of Regents that we were both a part of, and we look forward to working with them closely. The one thing that I want to say is that NMC is, excuse me, NMC is going to go through a major transformation in the physical aspect. The NMC right now and what they have is going for the academic side has been growing tremendously, and they are working and improving themselves. There is accreditation that's coming up as well that is keeping everyone at NMC busy. But the most important part that I see is for the growth of the new buildings and new infrastructures that are being worked on. And that's just going to bring back to the community of the CNMI. And yes, it will be affected in both Tinian and Rhoda, but in the business aspect of where I grew up with through my family running business here on island and then being in the wholesale division, wholesale business for over 25 years, anything that we see as far as constructions of new buildings or new developments and the island is for the better of the CNMI. And with the COVID pandemic that we're going through, I think this would just be a huge turnaround for the whole CNMI. So thank you all for allowing us to be here today, and we look forward to answering any questions. I look forward to answering any questions should you have any for me. Thank you again for the opportunity, and I look forward to working with you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Cepeda. Now I would like to recognize Ms. Jeannie Magnus.
Good morning, honorable senators and those in the chamber today. I'd like to thank the Regent Nominating Committee and the CNMI leadership, Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios, for this opportunity to serve again hopefully serve in the NMC's Board of Regents. I'm expressing my interest to continue serving in this esteemed body. Please allow me to provide a brief background on my credentials to assist you in making an informed decision. I obtained my MBA, my Master's in Business Administration, emphasizing in accounting about 15 years ago. I worked as an auditor for Deloitte Touche Tohmatsu for a short time before I transitioned into the public sector, where I felt public service was my calling. I'm currently the Deputy Corporate Director for the Northern Ireland Housing Corporation. And for the past 14 years there, I've been involved in operations, strategic planning, grants management, disaster recovery, and was appointed by Governor Torres as a state point of contact for the CNMI Housing Task Force, both for Typhoon Sodelor and Super Typhoon Yutu. I believe that with my vast experience and knowledge in the field of finance, operations, planning, audit, grants management, and disaster recovery, I can continue to be a valuable asset to the Board of Regents, most especially during these ever-challenging times in the CNMI and abroad. The Regents play a very critical role in establishing effective policies that will ensure quality and uphold the integrity of the college and higher education in the CNMI. I believe that I have contributed significantly on the Board of Regents in these past few years by offering sensible solutions while facing the most difficult times, which have greatly impacted the college. The Board of Regents that I've had a pleasure working with is a group of competent, vocal, very experienced individuals who at times agree, and at other times agree to disagree. Most importantly, we all share the common goal of implementing and improving policies to better the college, better its students, and better the overall experience of improving policies and in higher learning. It would be a great honor to continue serving with them as a regent. This is not to take any credit from the administration, NMC's administration, who was responsible for all the good work over the years, but during my tenure as regent, also with our chair, Charles Cepeda, we have offered, over the years we've supported then IP Frankie Elliptical, with various programs and continued partnerships with agencies such as Defense, DPS, Customs, PSS, and also UOG to give opportunities to Marana students to obtain advanced degrees. NMC was able to acquire federal money to also rebuild the college from grantors such as FEMA, EDA, DOE, and HUD. And NMC continues to produce clean audit reports as well. If reappointed to the Board of Regents, I will continue to encourage the college's administration to search for resources available so that individuals who are part of the underserved population have access to attending NMC and obtaining a college degree and a higher quality of life. Lastly, I would continue to advocate for the college as one of the most critical institutions in our Commonwealth, an institution that provides quality education and invests in the lives of the CNMI citizens, so in turn they can give back to the community that has molded them. Before I conclude, I must share my excitement for President Calvin De Leon Guerrero and his new journey with the NMC PROAs. I'm confident that he will steer this institution on a path towards continued success, resilience, and progress. I will also share my gratitude to then interim President Frankie Elliptical
for all his efforts and impeccable leadership after Super Typhoon Mutsu and throughout the ongoing pandemic. He has demonstrated his passion for this institution, and I cannot wait to see what he and President De Leon Guerrero have in store for the PROA team. I cannot express also how eager I am and excited to continue serving on the board if reappointed and confirmed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Magnus. And before I allow the members of the general public in the gallery to come forward to testify, either you're in favor or not, first I would like to recognize those that are invited to participate this morning. The President of the Northern Maryland College, Mr. Govin De Leon Guerrero.
A little nervous. This is my first hearing as president. Good morning, Chairman Cruz and members of the Senate Committee on Executive Appointments and Government Investigations. My name is Galvin De Leon Guerrero, and I am honored to serve our community as the president of Northern Marianas College. Before I proceed any further, please allow me a moment to express our shared grief and condolences to the families of Sam McPeters, Ivan Blanco, and Hedwig Kopfschneider. All three contributed in so many ways and in their own ways to our Commonwealth. Whether in scholarship, in leadership, or in education, they have left a legacy of indelible public service, a legacy we can honor by recommitting ourselves to the good work for which they dedicated their lives. And it is in that spirit that I thank you for this opportunity to speak before you today in support of the nominations of Charles Villagomez Cepeda and Ginny Palacios Mufnes to serve as members of the Northern Marianas College Board of Regents. The NMC Board of Regents plays a vital role as it sets the policies that guide all employees and students and leads the strategic direction of the institution. With plans for new facilities, an upcoming accreditation visit, and the forthcoming launch of a new strategic master plan, the board's role is now more important than ever. Mr. Charles Villagomez Cepeda is no stranger to the board. From 2006 through 2010, and then from 2017 to earlier this year, he served as a board chair, leading the College PROA through some of the most turbulent waters in its history, including 2 typhoons, austerity measures, and the COVID-19 pandemic. In fact, soon after Super Typhoon Mutsu, Mr. Cepeda was on campus overseeing recovery efforts with the college's leadership team, FEMA, and several elected and appointed government leaders. It was through those efforts and under his leadership that the college eventually secured millions of dollars in funding for new buildings that will one day give NMC new state-of-the-art facilities. Mr. Cepeda was able to leverage his vast network of community and business contacts to help the college on numerous occasions, including work with the Saipan Chamber of Commerce, the Saipan Rotary Club, and the American Red Cross. All this work has reinforced community support for the college, leading to increased contributions, consistently high enrollment, and more opportunities for our students and stakeholders. More recently, Mr. Cepeda played a key role in shaping the future of the college. He took an active role in strategic planning, he engaged in the accreditation process, and he personally chaired the Presidential Search Committee. All these efforts directly contributed to the momentum that is currently moving the college towards a bright and promising future. For these reasons, I ask that members of this Senate committee support his nomination during this confirmation process. I also respectfully ask the Senate Committee on Executive Appointments to support the nomination of Ginny Palacios Mufnes to the NMC Board of Regents. Like Mr. Cepeda, Ms. Mufnes is no stranger to the board, having served on the board from 2017 through earlier this year. During that time, like Mr. Cepeda, Ms. Mufnes provided vital support that sustained the college through the current pandemic, austerity measures, and 2 major typhoons. With her colleagues on the board, Ms. Mufnes led the college to continue providing high-quality education no matter what obstacles came our way. In particular, Ms. Monkness' in-depth experience in grants and community development, especially with the Northern Marianas Housing Corporation, helped the college navigate through the many grant opportunities that will now fund the rebuilding and upgrading of its facilities. From a former hospital to state-of-the-art facilities on all our islands, the college is moving forward because of the efforts provided by Ms. Monkness. In addition, her knowledge and experience in business, accounting, and economic development contributed to the college's strategic planning efforts, positioning the college to meet the ever-changing workforce needs of the Commonwealth. As an advocate for helping underserved populations, Ms. Monkness was especially focused on equipping our people with the skills and training they need to become contributing members of the Commonwealth's workforce. Indeed, the college's current forward trajectory was made possible in no small part by the leadership of Ms. Monkness. That is why I also ask that members of this Senate committee support her nomination during this confirmation process. In closing, as you know, this year, Northern Marianas College celebrates a 40-year legacy of providing high-quality, affordable, and accessible educational programs and services for the individuals and for the people of the Commonwealth. Through it all, the college, PROA, has endured countless challenges, proving that we are PROA strong. And in our strength, in our endurance, in our legacy, we have helped thousands of students and countless others in our community lead productive, meaningful, fruitful lives. We trust that the extensive experience and expertise of Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Monkness will help us sail ahead with a renewed focus on learning first, lifting the tide for everyone. Again, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak this morning in support of nominating Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Monkness.
Thank you, Mr. Renugura. Members of the NMC Board of Regents, anyone from the board? Mr. Renugura, do the board acknowledge that today is a public hearing for the reappointment of these two?
Yes, Chairman. Right now, all our regents are off island. 3 of them are off island on official business. Regent Sanchez is Tinian, and Regent Orvilla is on Muta. And they couldn't make it here today, but they of course expressed their support for the nominations of Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Monkness.
Thank you, Mr. Renugura. Okay, at this time I'd like to open the floor for any members of the general public that wishes to come forward to deliver testimony, whether you're in support or not. But again, before I open the floor, I would like to remind everyone that any comments that is not directly related with this public hearing will not be entertained, and such comment will be removed from the record. At this time, I open the floor for any members of the general public in the gallery that wishes to come forward and deliver testimony. And before you proceed with your testimony, please state your name for the record. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and honorable members of this august body. My name is Representative Joel Camacho, Precinct 4, and I'm just here in my personal capacity. I just want to state for the record that I wholeheartedly believe in Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Monkness' ability to serve in the Board of Regents once again, and I ask for your expeditious action on your confirmation. And I just wanted to state for the record that I support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Camacho. Still open for public comment. Anyone else? Members of NMC?
Good morning, Chairman Cruz and members of the the Committee on Executive Appointments. My name is Frankie Liptico. I work at the Northern Marianas College, and I'm here to, I don't have anything as eloquent and articulate as our president, but I do want to convey my very, very strong support. I have worked with Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Mafnas, have worked with them for the past 3 years during some of the most difficult times at Northern Marianas College. I looked to their guidance, to their support, to their mentorship, and it was only because of that that has allowed us and allowed the institution to continue to grow despite the back-to-back, as other folks have mentioned, back-to-back storms, literal and figurative storms that we have faced as an institution in our 40-year history. And it is with their leadership that we sit here today in front of you with a stronger, dare I say, more improved, and with a lot of momentum behind us, a stronger institution that is serving the Commonwealth. So I urge the members of this committee to please support their nomination and confirm their membership on the board as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Liptico. Still open for public comment. If no one else in the gathering wishes to come forward, at this time I close public comment. Now I would like to entertain the members of this committee whether to raise question or concern in regards to the reappointment of Mr. Charles Cepeda and Ms. Jimmy Mafnas. At this time, I recognize the floor leader of the Senate, Senator Vinny Sablan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and good morning to all who are present in this chamber with us this morning. To Representative Ato, Representative Macho, welcome to the Senate chamber, and as well as our president, our new president, Mr. Guerrero, welcome, and the wonderful staff and family also of the nominees. I'd like to welcome all of you. Good morning, Tilon Hapere, again, and welcome Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Mafnas. I was trying to remember if I was a part of this committee in your previous re-nomination, right? This is the second one. I'm not sure. I was looking for my notes in my computer, but I couldn't find them. I think I didn't save as, I just saved and kind of over. But good morning, nonetheless. We have a great combination of individuals before us this morning from both sectors, right, to continue their service to the CNMI in the realm of post-secondary education. And before I continue on, a fun fact. Both my wife and I are NMC alumni. Our oldest daughter is also an NMC alumni. Peachy is a very esteemed nursing graduate, and she's getting her master's degree in December, and she'll become a midwife along with her mom, and she'll be the second local midwife in the CNMI. And the first one was her mother, my wife. So that's very exciting, and I'm proud. We all should be proud. NMC should be proud. Our second daughter is a student now at NMC, also looking into the nursing field. Our third daughter is an early enrollee at NMC, also looking into the nursing field. And that's 3 children. I have one more, and that's our only son. And I'm hoping there'll be a political science program, so you can follow at least my footsteps or whatnot. But and I just wanted to kind of break the ice with that. If he wants to go into the healthcare field, then we'll let him go into the healthcare field. So I just wanted to share that it's a very, I like to think that our family and a lot of other families here in the CNMI are true testaments to the success of NMC and what NMC has to offer. There is living proof everywhere in all the sectors of the CNMI, both private and public, that proves the excellency of NMC. So I wanted to share that. Good morning again, and thank you both Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Mafnas for accepting the nomination from the Governor and Lieutenant Governor to continue your service to NMC. It's very vital that Your experience and professionalism remains on the board as we steer our PROA into the most exciting time in rebuilding our college. We're going to dialogue today, and we'll continue to dialogue as we move forward in the life of the college. It's an exciting time for the college as we welcome our new energetic and experienced president, President Galvin de Leon Guerrero. Thank you, sir, for joining the college and having that interest to join the college. And like Ms. Muffin stated in her testimony earlier, a very sincere appreciation to Mr. Frankie Leptico is in line for holding down the fort during, arguably the most dire times of the college. So thank you, Frankie. We've crossed paths many times during your leadership at the college, pre-typhoon, post-typhoon, pre-pandemic, and I wish I can say post-pandemic, but during our time that we're going through right now. So we just like to give you appreciation for that, along with your staff. There's a lot of factors that are upon us right now, and especially with this new pandemic, right? We have to rethink and restructure our approach to everything, not only in our post-secondary realm of our government, but every single realm of our government, and even in the private sector. As Mrs. Spera, you're going through that right now. I mean, just business practice right now is at a total 360 than what it was before, right? Our population is also a factor that's changing. We don't know the numbers yet with our 2020 census, but hopefully that any decisions that will be made moving forward, the board looks at those numbers and that information, to kind of steer our way to better decisions. Because I always look at population as one of the most important factors to any decision-making body that our government has and our private sector has. It's very important to acknowledge that. There's also our global changes, both national and foreign. Our geopolitical status, right, with these countries and their policies. For example, federal mandates and stuff like that. We always have to keep that in front when we make our decisions. And then also, what really keeps me wondering is this whole evolution of this online education program, right, or realm, and how all these institutions, post-secondary institutions, and our college campuses, have to compete with each other now with an online program. I remember when there were only a few colleges in the United States that offered online programs, right? I think starting with like University of Phoenix, and then it started kind of growing, and now we're in the day and age of almost all colleges really going into online programs, and how that affects our college on the ground, with enrollment and stuff like that. But again, with our major transformation plans and the funding that has been available to us by the federal government, and then we have our ongoing accreditation and our new president, I'm confident that we will sell our PROA to our destination of excellence. So, like I said, very exciting times. But I just wanted to ask just a few questions. Can you touch on some, or first, our first question, maybe since the arrival of the COVID-19 pandemic, how has enrollment been affected? Have we seen a decrease, or maybe differentiate between online and, I know maybe Frankie and Galvin can answer this and all that, but maybe you guys have probably discussed it on the table. How is our enrollment right now with the college?
Thank you, Senator. As far as enrollment, I would say that it's been holding steady, but can you also share the experience as a chairman where at that time, interim President Frankie Leptico, and yes, he was there when we when the typhoon hit, we worked together on a trip for the Regents training, and I always share this story that Mr. Liptico, at the time when we heard about the typhoon, we all met in the lobby with the Regents that were there, and then and all I was thinking about is coming back home and just tackling the typhoon situation. But the thing about Mr. Liptico at that time, the first thing in my mind is we got to shut down. There's no buildings. If you see there right now, the campus is maybe 3/4 gone. There's no classrooms. There's no way to accommodate students. But Mr. Liptico in the room when we were making our reservations to come back says, no, we got to find a way to continue on for the students. And I think that in itself proves how to answer your question, the momentum of the growth of enrollment for that year, that was August, October when it hit. We continued growth, and I don't think we even went down any since then. So enrollment has grown even through the super typhoon and the pandemic, and I believe from the last numbers it's still growing, even though it's a little, so it's not like it's going down.
Thank you, Regent Cepeda. With like I mentioned earlier, with the online programs, like online programs of other institutions, have we recognized that as a challenge to NMC, like in regards to competition, like competing and keeping students or keeping? I know we now offer an online program, right? At NMC, or I'm not sure, but I just wanted to see what kind of challenges, and do we see it as competing with other institutions, and does that kind of bring down our enrollment now that students are they have that option to enroll in other colleges abroad?
I wanted to thank you for your question. If there was anything that stood out at NMC when I first started as a region, it was their IT department. And I always used NMC as a star, the model when it comes to the online platforms. And so there was maybe some hiccups along the way, just in the beginning, but I don't feel like it was any competition for other institutions abroad, or even, and then like the chairman said, the enrollment did increase, and just to speak on if anything was challenged in that aspect, I don't think there was any. I think everything's going smoothly, even with, it really also helped the board as a whole when we were holding meetings and all of that. Yeah, the NMC has the star online platforms. Thank you.
Thank you. I was just asking that because, just looking into all these educational these universities and other campuses that offer these online programs, I was kind of worried about our NMC here. I really want our students to start here and really experience the in-class experience. So I guess the online programs and the actual face-to-face, they kind of complement each other. So if there's a need, or if there's an absence of one program in the facility, in the NMC, then the online program will come in. So that's great. It gives options to our kids as well. And I know our students are looking forward to the beautiful campus that is coming. So that'll get the numbers in. Maybe Ms. Maltness can answer this question. And I'm asking these questions because I want to be able to answer the questions of our constituents and have the actual have the actual numbers when I get these calls, but can you just list like some of the funding that has been down the pipe recently with the storm and stuff? I know during the last EAGI NMC hearing we had, I know U.S. Department of Education, there was a number thrown out about 21 million, right, for the building, and I know CDBG DR, and that's right down Mrs. Muffness's alley, what kind of funding is there, and any additional, can you kind of just state funding sources?
Okay, if I can, I'll speak on some of the funding sources, but if I can also defer to NNC's administration for the actual numbers. I'll speak for CDBGDR. We did receive word that NNC was most likely to be approved. We're still just waiting for official documentation. From the U.S. Department of Housing, that's about $14 million. From FEMA, I believe that was 19 million. I know we had from the Department, the EDA, which was about 20 million, and then also FEMA, if I didn't mention that, but I'm not aware of any other additional funding, so here we go. So FEMA, yes, about 38.6, 19, yeah. So actually, I mentioned all of them. FEMA, CDBGDR, EDA, DOE, and that was it.
Thank you. I just wanted to get those numbers to feed my excitement. And kind of really get excited to see what the college has in store for all of us. So with that, I have no other questions. I've seen your work, both of you, both in your professional capacities at your agencies and businesses, and then also in the board. So I have no questions. I'm just really excited with where the college is going, again, with the leadership of our president, our new president, President Guerrero, and the rest of the Board of Regents, and of course the great staff at NMC. I thank all of them, and I thank all of you. And we all have our own specific roles in driving our post-secondary college and our NMC to excellency. And if we work together, I'm sure we can get there, or I know we can get there. So thank you both. Thank you, Mr. Stella and Ms. Martinez. I yield, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Florida. Now I'd like to recognize Senator Carl Neves.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making the time to be here today to take part in today's confirmation hearings for Mrs. Fit and Mrs. Muffness. I would first like to thank both of you for accepting the nomination to continue to serve our country and the students that seek higher education here. NMC has done a great job over the years of kind of identifying some of the gaps, some of the needs with regards to education. Growing up on Tinian, I know a lot of our teachers were not necessarily from here. The education was great. They were really great teachers, but the attrition rate was something that was noticeable. As time has gone, NMC has provided so many of our teachers now with the education and tools to stay back and provide education to our students. Also with the nursing courses, as well as providing criminal justice, the partnership with Defense, DPS. I don't have any questions, but I would like to ask that we address some of the information technology gaps that we have now. I do know that the Office of Information Technology is constantly looking, newly formed, and a lot of these curriculums aren't necessarily available here. So that would be my only ask for NMC, is that we find a way to identify some of these curriculums and provide them to our local students so we can keep the education and the human resources on us. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Neves. Now I'd like to recognize Vice President Justo Kiruba.
Gracias, Mr. Chairman.
welcome Dr. Don Guerrero to the Senate chamber. And this might not be the first time, and maybe not the last time that you'll be coming here. And yes, there are times when this chamber is kind of intimidating for first timers. However, you get used to it as you set your feet deeper into the NMC as a whole. I would like also to extend my appreciation to Frankie Politico, the Vice President. Good times and hard times. My committee in education has been meeting with him and his staff at NMC, and they're a group of people that, regardless of the situation, they're committed to NMC. And for the two nominees, this is their second time appearing in the Senate on my term. And I will not again question your qualifications. As I said the first time you both came here, I'm convinced that you have the necessary education, training, and background to provide leaderships as Board of Regents to the NMC administration and staff. I read your letter to the nominating committee, and I'm really happy that the NMC is really following the law, the Board of Regents, in terms of vacancies, that they go through the process. And I'm happy, and I thank you both for willing again to serve in the board. And I know that you both are full-time employees, and you're giving your best at your available time to contribute to the enhancement of NMC, and the result will be our students here in the CNMI. And I also would like to extend my appreciation to the administration, although the law says that the nominating committee recommendations shall be done. However, the governor can reject, and I'm thankful that he didn't take that step to reject both your renominations to the Board of Regents. I'm really grateful for the board, and you were members at that time with all the disasters that came to the CNMI, or your board members, that the board did not furlough the staff at NMC. They were put on reduced hours, but I think they appreciate that more than being told to stay home because there's no more funding to have them continue with their work to support their families. I really would like to encourage the Board of Regents to increase its efforts in recruiting our high school graduates to go to NMC. I have observed over the years that our students that go to NMC and complete NMC, the greater chance of them staying here and assisting our communities are much, much higher. So I will continue to advocate to NMC to increase the efforts every year to convince our high school graduates to go to NMC. And with the leadership of Dr. Lungro and Mr. Letico, I am pretty sure that we can see our students choosing NMC and leaving to other institutions outside their Commonwealth. I would like to ask the two of you, we enacted a nursing scholarship the last legislature. And I would like to ask, how is the nursing scholarship in terms of attracting our students to avail to this opportunity so that we can have more of our health workers working in hospitals or other private clinics here in the CNY, rather than so that we can minimize the recruitment of outside health workers to the CNY. Are we getting applications from our high school students, or the law allocates I believe at least 20 slots every year under that scholarship, and I just wonder whether it is working or it is not working, or gradually and eventually it will hit the 20 mark every year.
Senator, if I may, I know that the NMC's nursing program is going through, they've been doing such a great it's been such a great program. They've been doing well, but they're working on greater improvements, and working with CACC. And that scholarship that you're talking about, I do believe that it's working, and the goal for that scholarship, which is to generate more nurse from NMC and locally build them into the hospitals where it's needed. I don't have I'm Regent Mafnas and I, or Ms. Mafnas and I, we just discussed it. We don't have the specifics, but I believe the administration, NMC administration, working to improve it within the NMC, the program, and to continue recruit more local or on islands, the 3 islands, nurses. It is a program that I believe, the scholarship, I believe, is necessary, and it should work. And with the leadership of NMC, it will be, it will show the positive side at the end. So I personally do support it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe the public school system is trying to bring back again the nursing program at DSS, and I hope that with that effort with DSS, we will see more of our students getting into the nursing program at NMC. We went to Rhoda for a public hearing, and we asked NMC if we can use one of their classrooms to conduct our HCW meeting. And I thank NMC for allowing us to use one of the rooms. However, I would like to ask, I went around the building, and it seems like the building was just left to fall down. Any plan by the board of Regents with the buildings in Rhoda, the NMC buildings?
Yes, Senator. I know that our Mr. Frankie Lipsco, in his hands, he has the facilities master plan, which includes Rhoda. So hopefully the senators have an opportunity to take a look at that. So there's definitely planning in the works for both Rhoda and Tinia.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Martinez. There was a lot of money and great effort to construct that building. I hope to see it, being put back to use again with our students in Rhoda, and perhaps that can be as a center for an online learning for the students in Rhoda. If they cannot come to sign up for face-to-face with the instructors. I know you mentioned earlier about the grants that you received to construct to rebuild NMC's facilities, and I'm very thankful for that. I think it's about time that we remove the old hospital buildings and give our students, the best we can, the type of facilities that they can enjoy going to and tremendously learn from NMC rather than going abroad. Can I ask, either any of you can answer, what's the status of the facilities, the new facilities at NMC?
Thank you, Senator. When we were, when our term was up, they were working in the facilities master plan, but secretly we didn't get aware. So to answer, the facility master plan is in the works right now, and as Ms. Martinez mentioned, Mr. Liptico has it in his hands and he's working on it as we're in this chamber. When he showed us earlier, he says he's making edits along the way. So the facility master plan is the next step, and I think that's the eagerness of us, the two of us, to return back into the Board of Regents so we can work with the administration who have been working with the architect and the whole college community in the facilities master plan. As you know, we haven't, our NMC has not presented it out because there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on the ideas around the campus. And not even within the campus, but with Mr. Liptico's guidance, it's within the whole area of the college, where Tennessee, the Dandan area, and make it a college community for everyone. So, Senator, it is one of the work that is waiting for the two of us to, as we return into the Board of Regents, to tackle, finalize the facilities master plan and start spending that money.
Okay, thank you. So I'm happy to hear that, and the members of this committee also, so that we can expedite your confirmation by this body. The last time we met at NMC, the HCW committee with the interim president and Mr. Liptico, we discussed about the properties of NMC. And I believe the only property legally owned by NMC is the current campus. However, I'm not so sure for Rhoda and Tina. So I'm just wondering if you are confirmed, what's the board's plan to seek ownership of the land where the building of NMC sits on Rhoda and also on Tina. And I also understand that Chris is using a portion of the Asperdido agriculture behind the agriculture station. I'm just wondering what's the Board of Regents plan with these additional properties. If you are confirmed and you return again to the Board of Regents, what's your plan about these properties? Do you have any plans to seek assistance from the administration or the legislature to try and release those properties to NMC? And I understand that Chris, I think, cannot build anything on the property that does not belong to NMC. So even if the grants allow Chris to build something permanent at Esperido, cannot be done because it does not belong to, the land does not belong to NMC. So can you tell us both of you, your plans to those properties when you confirm it?
Thank you again, Senator. So that's a great point. Before our term was up, there was discussion about the lands in Tinian and Rhoda being just an agreement between NMC and Department of Public Lands. So without, having all the details in front of me, but as Board of Regents, that's the intent, is to make sure that all the properties that we are going to be building or we're going to be renovating and improving belongs to NMC, so that we don't have to deal with properties down the line being litigated or taken away. As for the NMC Greece property, yes, I believe, I recall that discussion with the administration through during President Frank Elliptico at that time, that there is a need to also get that under NMC's ownership per se, deeded to NMC. But I'll let if I may, once personally when I'm in and back in the Board of Regents, I would work with the administration to update you, Senator, and your committee, because those are important topics that is very important that we finalize that. Just want to say that there was some work I recall before our term was up, and I believe there's going to be continued presentation to the board to try and finalize those properties. And now let me smile.
And I just along with what Mr. Cepeda mentioned, I do understand that a lot of the grantors out there, most especially HUD, also requires that the grantees have some land designation from the Department of Public Lands. So again, like Mr. Cepeda mentioned, our goal is to have those designated to NMC or have them released to NMC, and then the short-term goal is to actually start discussions with the Department of Public Lands, since I know for many grantors, MOUs sometimes don't work, so it has to be actual land designations or deeds. But also, one of our current regents, Ms. Irene Torres, has been very instrumental with working also. So she's at DPL, also been very instrumental in coordinating. And so again, before we left, while we were waiting for our confirmations, there has been talks. So that's our next plan of action, is to start discussions again with DPL and to also ensure that the grantors' requirements are met through the land designations or the deeds that are required for our grants.
Thank you, Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Marquez. My last question is the 1 million, I think that's 1 million water tank at the entrance of NMC. I understand that land belongs to NMC. Is there any plan to, and I think it's probably not easy to tell the administration to relocate the 1 million water tank there, because it was just completed a few years ago. Is there any plan with that area, whether to seek assistance from BPO to give NMC land exchange or any discussion of that area right there.
Yes, Senator, that's a good, thank you for bringing that up. Again, before our term was up, I know as chairman, that's been pointed out to me from the administration, Mr. Luptico and his team. When they started working on the facilities master plan, trying to see where everything's going to fit, they did realize that that property and some of the, even if I'm not mistaken, the road and the backside there, going where the tank is all the way to the back, some encroachments and some issues there that is being dealt with. So the last I recall was that the administration is working out with CUC and NMC administration is working with CUC to see what options we have on that. And so I don't have any specifics on that now. I haven't been updated, so we haven't been updated. But again, we'll tackle that when we're reappointed, and we'll work with NMC to update your committee as well. Thank you.
Okay, so just Mr. Cepeda. Again, I would like to thank you both for accepting again another 4 years of challenge, probably greater now that you're trying to ensure that the facilities are done in a very short time and not maybe 7-8 years from now. And also that will complement Dr. De Leon Guerrero's words on, I believe, Variety, that he wants to make NMC a choice, that choice of college for our students. And I believe that with the Board of Regents' efforts and the administration, the staff of NMC, that can be accomplished. We will provide our students that choice of college, which is NMC. Again, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I yield.
Thank you, Vice President. Now let recommend again Role Leader of the Senate, Senator Bin Sablon.
Thank you, Chairman, for the second round. I missed this topic during my first round, but I just wanted to bring this up. And after all that our society has endured, we've recognized more than ever the need to acknowledge the mental health struggles and behavioral health struggles that we have all seen, or we have been seeing in our community. Right, we see how this has tremendously affected from children in the elementary level all the way up to the post-secondary level, and also into the workforce, which is the adults. And we've recognized that, especially after everything that has happened with the storms and people losing their homes and their jobs, and then with this recent pandemic and what we're going through now, and creating a new normal for ourselves. With that, the Senate and our Senate President, Jude Hofschneider, introduced Senate Bill 22-05 to establish a behavioral health professional scholarship, and for other purposes, just almost mirroring the nursing scholarship. I'm not sure if there's a mental health counselor program in NMC, but I wanted to ask currently, is there a behavioral and mental health curriculum at NMC? And have there been any conversations in bringing more focus on this need? I just wanted to ask that if the board has ever spoken of what we're going through with our behavioral and mental health concerns and issues in our community.
Thank you, Senator. As far as having the program in NMC or as a curriculum, I honestly don't know, and I yield to the NMC team for that. But just to share that after Super Typhoon U2, all I heard from interim president Liptico is that there's those services provided for the students and also the staff and faculty of the NMC. So it's available for the support of the students, and they were utilizing that at that time. And I think it is a great program for everyone in the community, not only NMC, but the CNMI as a whole.
Thank you. And I just wanted to kind of bring that up. I see our good president nodding in agreement in the back, and maybe just something to ponder and something to recommend to really look into that. I know there has been a shout and a cry on our elementary level with PSS to look into mental health and start really providing some services and some support legislatively into that, and that is where Senate Bill 22-05 came to birth. So here at the legislature, we continue to recognize and keep the behavioral health profession and the issues that we're going through on the forefront in our aim to improve the quality of life of our people. So just something to ponder, Mr. President, and Frankie and the NMC staff, just to help our kids and our working adults and our college students really help them with their challenges on mental health so that, we can kind of move forward all together. I yield, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Floor Leader. And good morning again, Mr. Cepeda and Mr. Dini. First, I would like to commend the NMC and staff for job well done despite the multiple typhoons that hit us, and especially this pandemic that almost got everybody panic. The NMC continue to give education to our students, either on site or online, and I applaud NMC for that, and thank you. In regards to tuition for students, do you have any issue with students in regards to tuition at this time, or the NMCs and the grants or assisting students that are not able to pay tuition or books at NMC? Do we have any issue at NMC?
Chairman, again, before our term was up, I've heard and I've worked with interim president Frankie regarding that, and with the support from the federal government, their students were receiving some funds. As you know, also the tuition, when you mentioned tuition, we have, NMC has not increased the tuition for several years already, and part of it is so that we can maintain that growth or continuance of enrollment in NMC. And I know that the board has talked about that, I believe, at least one time as far as tackling tuition. So it hasn't been brought up to the board that there's challenges for reaching or getting the tuitions of what we are presenting now, but there was discussion about the need to increase it to support the administrative work that needs to be done as for faculties and staff. But with the support of the legislatures and the fundings that we're getting, I believe if we keep the tuition at bay, would be okay with the continued growth or maintaining the enrollment. Again, with the work of the NMC team, keeping the enrollment or growing or maintaining it has been able to manage the fundings that's necessary to run the operations at NMC. So we hope we can continue with the same tuition and continue the growth of enrollment, and that would help us.
Thank you, Mrs. Peda. The reason I mentioned this because I was looking at the OGM clearinghouse funding under the co-share the COVID-19 emergency rental assistance for those that have been affected by the pandemic that can afford to pay for rental. And I was thinking maybe perhaps also maybe NMC can look into this and maybe perhaps to assist also students on those that cannot even afford to pay tuition because of the cost of the pandemic. Maybe meet with the administrator of OGM, Mr. Cabrera, and see what can they do to assist. I was looking if they can assist those that have been affected and not able to pay rental. Maybe perhaps also because some students are working students and maybe they lose their job, and as a result of that, maybe there's a way to look into those assistance.
Thank you, Senator. I'm fully aware of the SARA program, and definitely will take that into consideration. SARA is able to assist even students who are working. It's a priority. The SARA program prioritizes those that have been furloughed and at a certain income limit. And also, so we'll meet, if confirmed, we'll meet with the administrator. I believe they have about $10 million and probably have a lot more to spend in the coming months. But also, I believe also with the tuition question, NMC did receive some COVID assistance, just like all the other public sector agencies. And I think what's really unique about the assistance was it was direct to the students, as opposed to other agencies where you can use it for infrastructure, stuff like that. But for NMC, it was direct to consumer, which was the students.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you also, Ms. Jimmy Magnus. And again, I appreciate your continued interest in this. This is a very critical board that needs your expertise to continue to assist NMC, and especially to provide the best education to our community, our students. And if I move further, I would like to ask the clerk to acknowledge those letters that have been submitted.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Senate EAGI Committee, Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Montes, and members of the general public, in addition to the oral testimonies received today on the executive appointment of Mr. Charles V. Cepeda and Ms. Jeannie P. Montes to serve on the Board of Regents for the Northern Marianas College, please be advised that the additional written testimonies officially received in support of the appointees from the Honorable David M. Apitan, Mayor of the Municipality of Saipan, Dr. Galvin De Guerrero, President, Northern Marianas College, Ms. Irene Fidela Torres, Member, NMC Board of Regents. At this time, no written testimony opposing the appointment of Mr. Cepeda and Ms. Montes have been received by the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Jolene. This time, no public comments are well taken. Let the record reflect that there are also written testimonies submitted from individuals in support of the appointees before this committee and will be included in the Senate Standing Committee recommendation report, along with all testimonies to be forwarded before the full Senate members in consideration for confirmation or rejection. At this time, before we adjourn, I would like to extend on behalf of the members of the Standing Committee our sincere appreciation and gratitude to Governor Torres and Lieutenant Governor Palacios' representative, Mr. Kevin Bautista, the appointees, Mr. Charles V. Cepeda and Ms. Jeannie P. Montes, and most especially the members of the general public for your participation and involvement during this important public hearing process. And we certainly hope that we continue this dialogue of communication between us, the elected officials, and the public to keep you abreast and informed of our current and future Senate hearings ahead that relates to public best interest. This concludes this public hearing for today. Do I have a motion? No, rather for this morning, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to offer a motion to adjourn today's EAGI public hearing subject to the call of the chair.
There's a motion for adjournment and was seconded. All in favor of that motion, say aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. This public hearing is now adjourned. Thank you.